Hey there and happy Monday. So today's card is card number 3 from Beth Galswick's virtual stamp party. And my whole goal was to bring that to you last week Friday and totally lost my voice. Like it wasn't even really a whisper, it was that gone. And hopefully you guys can hear me today. Still just kind of hanging on, but I felt like good enough and ready enough that you could hear me to do today's video. I had an excellent team meeting last Thursday night. I love my team and I love it when we can gather in person. It had honestly been 2.5 years since we'd been together. So it was fun to just see them in person, hear their voices in person, see their creations that we did a team swap with in person and all of that. Hi there, Patty. Hi, Kay. And so that team meeting really warmed my heart. My team's kind of spread out all over various states. So I do it through Facebook Live too on our private group page and such too. So some people were able to join in that way too. But so if you're ever interested in joining my team right now, because of Celebration, there is a joining special with getting that special planner through Celebration, and that goes, today's August 1st, so it goes through this entire month. So that's something to keep in mind if you've ever thought about joining Stampin' Up! And I love to provide guidance for my team that way too. So that's just my little plug, and I don't say it too often, but I don't want people to miss out on that by me not saying it at all either. Hey there, Lisa. And so today, here is that promise card number 3 for Beth Galswick's party. So I'm bringing in lots of coordinating products. So lots of little bits and pieces come together to make this card happen, but it's not hard. It's just like piecing together things, and it's all fun things. So let me get my camera turned around. Actually, I kind of forgot. I was so busy, like excited to see you guys on a Monday, which sometimes I don't come to you guys on a Monday because that's kind of my catch-up day after the weekend. And I hope you guys had a great weekend. My boys played football and I couldn't even yell or anything at their football game. They won the whole championship for the Southern Plains Amateur Football League, and I was just clapping, and that was it. That's all I could provide for them, but obviously they didn't need me. So thanks, Jennifer. It's good to see you on here. All right, so I got that blurb in unintentionally because I was waiting for my iPad to catch up. Okay, I've got that going. So I'm going to just take my camera here. Hey there, Tori. Alrighty, and get this here. So here is the card front and center, and I just wanted to add some things, but yet have this cute gnome steal the show there. And even though there's some busyness in the background, I feel like he still stays front and center as being the focal point there. And where the cute gnome comes from, I have been waiting to do something cute with the cute gnome bundle here, and that comes from the mini catalog on pages 42 and 43. So there was one day I was going to get something out to make with this bundle, and then I realized the bundle was on not on back order, because Stampin' Up! Doesn't do any back orders. It's just plain unorderable until more stock comes back in. So I just waited, because sometimes people watch my video and they jump on the bandwagon to order what I have just demoed, and I would feel bad if you couldn't. But this is back in stock. It's ready to be ordered. So I'm using the stamps here and then the dies. I wanted to use the paper, but I'm not today just because I'm going to use some Celebration paper, but there's super cute paper here too. And then, nope, I was going to see if they had like a bigger picture of the stamp set, but they don't. It's just all out there. And I am also going to use the Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems. So that's what I'm using for that. And then I'm going to bring in this, which I have used before, but I'm just going to do another quick little run through of the Tree Rings Hybrid Embossing folder, and just kind of show you how I'm going to make a background with that today. Because what I love about the Tree Rings embossing folder is you can make it be the forefront of your project. You can make it be a background. You can use bits and pieces just here and there, and it turns out gorgeous. Oh, here, before I forget though, here is the cute the paper I'm not using. It's so cute. So I thought about just cutting out, because the dies do cut out these actual pieces from the 12 by 12 designer series paper. And then how cute are these gnomes? But I wanted to do some coloring today. But if I didn't want to color, I would have taken the dies, which also cut out these gnomes as well. So that would have been fun to use. So you might see these combined on a whole different card at a different time, or maybe an upcoming class that I'm putting together too. But the paper that I did want to showcase in the background, kind of sneaking out here, if you see those trees, that is free from Celebration. So we have that here. And I know the tree, Rings of Love. I always want to call it Tree Rings of Love, but it's just Rings of Love. So from Celebration on page 7, that's the free paper here. So if you can see front and center, these are these houses. And I'm just going to fussy cut out a house here to add to the card, because that's all colored in. So for those of you that aren't into coloring, you've already seen the gnomes and the big mushroom that can be cut out, and you can also then cut out one of these cute little cottages, which I think pairs really well with the gnomes. And then this 12 by 12 piece of kind of like tree looking background paper too, or if you want to save the other side for Christmas, from the Rings of Love. This all coordinates so well with that whole Rings of Love suite, as well as I think it goes well with the gnomes bundle too. So kind of wanted to show you a little bit of flip flop. Hi there, Linda. Hi, Arlene. So let me get started. And I think before I get too far with getting the space filled up, I want to not move this folder, because to save you guys time, since I have kind of shown you how to use the hybrid folder, maybe this might be new for some of you that didn't get to watch that. I have 5 dies like inlaid and set inside this embossing folder here. So the hybrid tree rings, hybrid embossing folder comes with this folder here. And then what also is part of it is this that can do the outside layers of these tree rings here. And then the insides are what I have laid in here, as well as various other little fall, autumny, woodsy, mushroomy looking dies as well. So that's the tree rings dies with the folders. So this all comes together. I know a lot of people have questioned. It says hybrid embossing folder. Do I really get all of this? Yes, you do. So that's part of it. And if you like the stamp set, that also comes with it as well. As you know, the additional purchase, or 10% off to do the bundle pricing. So let me slide over my cut and emboss machine. I want to get this coming through so you can see the number 1 there, and that is the big chunky platform. And then because this is hybrid, it uses that specialty plate, the 3D specialty plate that goes on top. And let's see what I have here for pieces today. Some soft suede crumb cake, and like I said, that designer series paper that's free with a $50 purchase through Celebration. And let me just carefully shift this onto here, move that out of the way for now. I want to make sure that tray doesn't move. This I have cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so that will cover all of those rings as they get cut out there. So I'm going to carefully lay that down. Hinge goes into the machine first, and then I will put this through like so. Hopefully that cut all of them out and embossed it all. So this is how fun it looks. Like, how cool is that you have all of those little pieces? So these 5 little pieces I can just kind of set aside here. Just going to pop them out of the dies, because this is the only piece that I wanted today. Hi there, Connie. Thanks for joining in. So these dies I'll just set aside, and these pieces, but I know that these pieces will come in handy on a different day. Or maybe I'll use that other outline, and then these will be ready to go to put on the inside of that too. So this is all done for the card. Like I said, it's just going to be kind of a little background, and then this is what I wanted to come up with for that. So I'm going to set that aside. And actually, I think I'm going to just start assembling my card with that much of it so far, just so I kind of have that out of the way too. So with the Rings of Love free celebration paper, this I cut 4¼ by 4 inches by 5¼ so that's going to be a little bit smaller. I want it to fit inside that frame and not have to worry about lots of pieces maybe possibly coming out the edges or whatever. So this is my typical matting for a card front. So I've got soft suede opening that way. Hi there, Joy. And then I've got this doing its usual layer. And I picked soft suede because that's the same color as what the Rings of Love imagery is. So now when I bring this over, this is in crumb cake. Now this being 4¼ by 5½, it is the exact length or width and such as that card front in soft suede. So it's going to cover up that designer series paper, and maybe you can see from the camera shot the shininess to know I kind of just put my seal adhesive kind of here, there, and everywhere. And now this is going to just lay right over top and now become the new card front like so. So it still opens up. You'll have soft suede in the beginning. Yes, Connie, I am early today. I know I'm going to get sweaty out my garden in a little bit, picking green beans and just doing a little bit of upkeep. And I didn't want to do that first and then look super hot and sweaty and then do my video. So that's why I'm a little early today. But I didn't want to also go out to my garden and get behind and not have time to do a video as well. So that's why it worked for me, and it looks like it's working for a lot of you too to join in at this time too, which I never know what is good for everyone else. Okay, so we've got, like I said, the crumb cake and then the designer series paper opening into the soft suede that way. So now we want to work on filling in some of these little holes. I don't want to fill them all in because I do like seeing the peaks of that like the woodsy look in there too. And when you think gnomes, you think woodsy little things, you think of little cottages and things like that. So what I'm going to do is just take a little piece of some basic white and my memento pad. Hey there, Amy, good to have you on here too. So got lots of my team watching. That's exciting. I always like to see their names pop up besides my regular watchers and stuff. A lot of my team. That's the other thing. When I talked about my team meeting at the very beginning of this video, some of them are like full-time workers besides being on my Stampin' Up team. I would say the majority are. So it's always kind of fun to see how they balance their hobby or their business around that too. And they give great insight for that. I'm going to actually get this a little bit closer. I try and do that when I go to color in my images so that you can see how I do that. And today my color choices are Night of Navy Stampin' Blends, Balmy Blue Stampin' Blends, Pale Papaya Stampin' Blends, and then the lightest of the Smoky Slate. So I think I'm going to just start with the Smoky Slate here and just kind of outline his beard. Another feature, because I didn't even show you the Gnomes dies. So this is what I'm going to end up using to cut this guy out. But in here, the images from the stamp set will cut out the various gnomes, but you can also see like this can be for the nose, and then you've got this that can pop up within the beard where the nose is. You've got images to make cute little mushrooms, and you can build from scratch the gnome with the beard and the feet, and then the hat here, and then the mushroom, and then some grass and different things. And like I said, these gnomes will also cut out some of the images from the designer series paper as well as the mushroom. So I love that you can both stamp and color and cut this out or build your own. Which brings me back to my team meeting. One of the swaps that Gretchen on my team did was this. So she built her own gnome, and I might even copy her idea for you guys because I love it so much. And that's what we love about gathering together in our team meeting is copying ideas from each other and learning and growing from each other. So she just used the dies versus stamping and then cutting out. And then she colored in the die part with some of the blends there too. So I kind of want to show you you the difference both in size and kind of the texture and coloring that you can do with that. So now I'll get back to this, because I know if I just start coloring away on this cute little gnome here, I'm going to get, you know, caught up in that, and then I won't go back to showing you the other variation that you can do with the gnomes and the dies. So I just kind of outlined that with my bullet tip here, the beard, and then I just kind of fill in where the lines are on the beard that the artist drew in there. And I just kind of start there so I don't forget, because it kind of isn't something that, it's not like anything he's wearing, so I can sometimes almost forget about things like that. And then I'll switch over to the pale papaya. And I'm just going to kind of circle that around there, and then fill in the mouth and go over these gloved hands to make it actually kind of look like his hands. And then that was with the darker. And then with the lighter pale papaya, I'm just going to fill in that middle circle and just kind of scribble over top the gloves, and that just kind of gives you kind of that lighter look, kind of that focal point where the light image hits that. And then I'm going to go over to my Night of Navy, but the lighter color of the Night of Navy, excuse me, and just kind of fill in the little cuffs here. And hopefully I can make it through my video without choking or losing the rest of my voice for the day. My family just is like, hey, mom's really quiet when she loses her voice. It's not the worst thing. So I'm just doing kind of some of these little X's and highlighting that there on his clothing, and then I'm going to set that aside and do the rest of his clothing coloring with the balmy blue. I'll start with the darker. I just prefer starting with the darker. It just kind of gives me an outline to work on. So I'm just going to kind of color in some of the different things there on his arms, and then outline his shoes and pants. I'm making them both the same color, like so. And so it's just adding a little bit, and then I'll switch over to the balmy blue light, and just kind of, as you can see, just kind of scribbling to blend those colors together like so. So we've got that happening so far. Excuse me. And now I'm going to switch to my Night of Navy, and I'll grab my darkest one of that and just outline this like so. Okay, going down like so. Going up over that nose. I want to make sure I don't accidentally go over it. And do that. And then I will fill in with my lighter navy, Night of Navy, just like so. I'm just going to kind of pull away from the edges and go towards the middle, but not all the way in the middle. Excuse me. And then I have this much of like a window open there. So I'm going to then come back with the lightest of the balmy blue and just fill this in. And at first, I know what I want to achieve. It always looks kind of weird because it just kind of looks so white and so kind of not the same color as the other. But as I keep pulling it in, and I go over it like a second time and go further away from the center to kind of pull that navy in and just kind of circle it like that. And the magic of just time, all of a sudden you can see that over time it'll just dry and kind of become that. So we've kind of added not just a light and a dark, but a third color into that. And I think that is just what makes this type of like illusion look magical, just by adding that and giving it some pop there. Not only that, but kind of tying it all together with this outfit too. And if you think, no, I don't like it like that much light, you can always go back with the lighter Night of Navy and just kind of blend that in a little bit more if you want to, and then come back with your balmy blue and do that again too. So kind of however you want that to turn out, but just know that within excuse me, about 5 minutes or so, that will look different. It'll look more like this just as it has time to dry. So let me get my camera scooted back up, and I'll stand back up and give you more of my desktop view here. I'm just going to grab a little sip of something to drink. There, like I said, it was pretty certain I could make it through. But yeah, my voice is what it is till it comes fully back. All right, so let me then quickly just cut this out. That's the only other thing that I needed to cut out, and I love how these dies match up so perfectly with these cute gnomes. I could just sit and color these gnomes like all day long because they're so adorable. Like one looks more like a girl gnome if you like the braided look for that and everything. Hey there, Shelly. Thanks for joining in. So that is how it cuts out perfectly. So we've got that, and I'll set that aside. And then next, so that one's going to go there. The next thing I want to do is find something for this. And that's where I said I just kind of took a chunk of that Rings of Love Designer Series paper and cut that out of the 12 by 12 sheet. So if you wanted to change up your gnome, say green is your favorite color, you could do different coloring techniques, Stampin' Blends or watercolor pencils or anything, and you could use some green with that and then pick out one of the green cottages that is in this Rings of Love 12 by 12 paper. So I'm going to kind of make some deep cuts around and down into these trees. I thought it would kind of be fun to leave some of these trees in the picture besides just the cottage too. So I'll kind of go around and down like that. This is pretty easy to cut out because the trees are kind of vague and the house is kind of square. It does make for easy cutting like so. I'm just going to trim this just a little bit closer there like so. So now we have that cute little cottage and that's ready to go on there. And then the only thing else that we need is, of course, a sentiment. So from the Kindest Gnomes stamp set, there's different sentiments, and I chose the Warm Wishes. I just think it covers a lot of things, and I like to send you guys out the cards as thank you notes for ordering with cards that are usable. So Warm Wishes can kind of be sent out for a lot of different things. So that I just stamped out with the Night of Navy ink pad there, and it's on a strip of 1/2 inch, I would say about 1/2 inch basic white. And then I have these pieces here. I have Pale Papaya, and that is cut at about 3/4 inches. This is Balmy Blue, cut at about 1/2 inch by 2 inches. And then this is Night of Navy, 1 inch by 2 inches that way. So now I can just kind of do some layering. I think I'm going to start with the cute little gnome here and just put some dimensionals on the top of his hat here. And then our card will just come together and be complete. So I've got him. I will just kind of put him in the center, but I also want to make sure that we're seeing a lot of that cute background paper. And then same with the trees here. I'm going to see if I can fit a dimensional behind those trees. Yes. Didn't know if I cut too deep into that, that tree line there when I added it. And then that I'm just going to kind of put along the edge of the card like so. Actually scoot it down maybe a little bit more. Just want to make sure I don't get the trees off the card like so. And you can tell by my sample, I on purpose did a different tree so you could kind of see the difference with that one in this one, size-wise, color-wise, however. And just want to make sure that my house doesn't look like it's sitting kittywampus. All right, and then my Warm Wishes, I want to pop that up. So it's kind of a skinny little strip, so I'm just going to use this little chunk here on the side of my dimensionals. That always makes for a nice little strip behind the greeting like so. And before I put that on, I want to grab my adhesive, and I'm just going to take this 1/2 inch strip of Balmy Blue and put that across the bottom of my Night of Navy, like so. And then I'm going to layer next my pale papaya kind of in the center here. And that's going to be smaller, so my greeting's going to go over top of that. But I'm kind of tying in all the colors of the blends that I used. So when I look at the gnome, we've got the pale papaya, balmy blue, and Night of Navy going on there. So that's kind of why I chose all of those colors. And I see my balmy blue sticks out just a hair on this one side, so I'm going to just trim that off. It must not have been quite the 2 inches like I thought it was. And then that, since the Warm Wishes is popped up, I'm just putting regular adhesive to go kind of in the window here of that little tree ring that's cut out. So there we have that, but not quite finished yet. So I love how a lot of these colors just kind of keep blending together for each window. And with that, then how fun is it to sneak in some of the fine sparkle adhesive back gems? So you can see all of these colors are what I showcased in the beginning when I kind of gave you a sneak peek of the designer series paper there. So I'm like, okay, let's use some of the blue. So there's 4 different colors and then 2 different sizes here. So I'm going to use the larger of the blue and the smaller of the blue and just kind of go like that. And then the pale papaya is kind of shown more up here. So I'm going to use one larger and one smaller of the pale papaya. And then because there's some of the greenery with the trees, I'm like, let's pull in some of these green little gems and do a larger and a smaller, kind of varying it like that. So we've got all of those colors kind of represented and adding little bits and pieces with gems on there that way. And this says Warm Wishes, so it can be used for anything. So for the inside, I kind of wanted to leave that pretty versatile as well. So I'm just going to come back with that cute gnome image that I colored in for the front. And I'm just going to stamp him up for the inside. Some of you, this might drive you crazy. I'm just going to leave him just like that. I'm not going to color him in just as kind of a follow through of image. But if you get it and go, nope, that needs to be colored in, you'll know the color choices that I used if you'd like to color it in on your own. But this way the card can be kept plain neutral in the inside for whatever sentiment that you want to add. But especially with a lot going on the outside, I thought it was just kind of fun to have something be a little bit more neutral that way. So there you have it. This is card number 3. It wraps up the demos for Beth Galswick's party. I think she'll be leaving her party open for a couple more weeks, but just wanted to get her demos in for you. So if you order from Beth's party and use her host code, or if you're talking with me and want my help, oh, there we go. I thought I disappeared. Maybe not on your end, but it did on my end. So if you order using Beth's host code, or if you need help ordering, let me know and I can help you order, and just make sure and specify that you want her host code used. Then you'll get the 3 cards that I've made from her party through the demos as a thank you from her and I. So minimum $25 order will get you that, but keep in mind it's celebration. So if you want the free paper, consider ordering the Cute Gnomes bundle. Thank you, Linda. I love the gnomes too. So I think I might even do something with them yet this week, because I have another hostess and I think I'll start her party tomorrow. If my voice holds up or keeps getting better, that is my plan. So tomorrow I'll be starting a new host code and party demos for Kathy Hunter. And actually then I'll do hers, let's see, Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, think of this week. I'll try and squeeze those all within the same week. So you'll have lots of demos to look forward to yet this week besides today. So with it being August 1st, I usually put out my monthly email. So if you're looking like, where is that usual email? I'm going to do it tomorrow because there's special announcements that Stampin' Up! Say that will start happening tomorrow. So I don't have all the details. I just kind of know bits and pieces, and I don't want to send out an email with bits and pieces and then another one with full details tomorrow. But cool things are coming tomorrow, so just know that, and I will send out my monthly email tomorrow instead of my usual today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.